So think about, you get to 90 and you reflect back and you did everything in your power to make what you wanted happen if it was important to you. You really ended up experiencing those things in life that you'd actively gone after, and you had that full balance of experience and connection. What excuses do you find yourself making in the now that prevent you from perhaps leading your life in that way? Because this is part of it, is being really clear about what you want, right? So in this case, you're really clear about what a great life would look like to you. And now it's getting some clarity about, well, what are the things that get in the way of that? Do you feel like, so when we say the first one, we said you did everything that was important to you. So you did everything in your power to make it happen, right? Something that was really important to you, versus blaming circumstances or making excuses. When does blaming circumstances and making excuses tend to come up? Because that's exactly that, so that demonstration of, okay, that could be looked like, okay, I'm blaming that on the circumstance. What would be in your control then, so to make that training happen if it couldn't have happened that day because a meeting got put in? The second one. So when you think about having that great life and that you ended up doing the things that you planned, the things that you wanted because you actively directed your life rather than being that passive passenger, when does being that passive passenger tend to come up? When do you slip into that passive passenger role? You ended up where you wanted to be and actively directing that. The passiveness of that tends to occur more within relationships and connections. Because you've identified, the question to begin with was really around what's preventing you from progressing, what stands in your way of living that life of greatness where you do everything in your power to make it happen, where you're actively directing. And the two things that have come up is basically when something happens that's outside your control. And then the other is where you have a connection or interaction and somebody, I guess, is more use forward, because that works for you. When something that happens outside of your control, somebody else in an interaction or a connection is more forward, your tendency is to move off your path of greatness. All right, so let's look at the third thing. When you think of having that full life, that balance of experience and connections, what stands in the way of that? Stands in your way when you think of that balance of experiences and connection, having that full life, what stands in your way is that choice to be alone, that pattern of being alone, that default choice. I like that word. Yeah, that default choice to be alone. So when you think of a full balanced life of experience and connections, there's that belief, that thought, right? That the default choice to be alone is easier than the effort to connect. That's the sort of the thing that stands in your way. The word effort, why effort usually comes up when we think of something and we think, oh, that's effort. It's usually because we don't have enough necessity. First habit of raising necessity, effort tends to come up, that feeling tends to come up if we don't have enough necessity. Because you think about something where you're totally in flow, where something feels really easy, because now you have there very clearly in front of you, right, what you know defines greatness in your life, and the three things that can derail you. Something happens outside of your control, the connection and the interaction, the other person's more forward, or you go to that default choice to be alone. Yeah. So now that you're aware of that, when those things come up, yeah, it's now that awareness that, oh, that's slowing me down. That's standing in my way of getting to this life of greatness that I want. What choice now can I make in this moment to move through, set aside that obstacle?